Good day, everyone. Today we will talk about program flow and conditional control structures. So, after this lesson, you should be able to discuss how program logic works, explain the different condition statements in Java, show how to use condition statements to solve problems, and to create simple programs using these condition statements. So, in programming, a program usually runs line by line and from top to bottom. But sometimes we want it to make decisions. And there are two main types of control structures. So number one, decision control structures for making choices. So number two, repetition control structures for repeating tasks. So today we'll focus on decision control structures. What is decision control structure? It helps the program decide what to do when faced with different situations. In Java, there are several types of control structures. Number one, an if statement. Two, an if-else statement. Three, an if-else-if statement. Four, nested if. And the last one is switch statement. So an if statement is a statement that checks a condition to be true. So if the condition is true, the code inside will run. If it falls, the program skips it. While in the if-else statement, an if-else statement lets us choose between two actions, one when the condition is true and other when it's false. If-else statements. Next, a nested if statement. A nested if means having one if statements inside another if statements. It is used when one conditions depends one another. And next, a nested if statement. A nested if statement means having one if statement inside another if statement. So the last one is the switch statement. The switch statement is another way to make decisions. It is used when comparing one variable to many possible values. An if statement checks a condition and runs a block of code only if it's true. So I hope you're familiar with operators and declaring some variables, because I'm going to do them. So let's set an int of age equals to 20. And so to write an if statement, let's type if a set of parentheses and the curly bracket, enter. So within the parentheses, I would like to say my age to be greater or equal to 18, and then if that's true, then we'll print something. So within the parentheses, age is greater than or equals to 18. We'll print you are an adult. So let's run it. There we go. The condition is true that you are an adult at age 20. So let's set it to 18. Let's run. You are an adult. Still. What if we set our age to 17? Nothing happens. That's because the condition is not true. So in this situation, we're going to add an else statement. So within the else statement, we'll add a print. So there we go. Let's print you are a child. You are a child. With the age of 17, you are a child. So what if we set the age to 14? Run. still you are a child. At 11, still you are a child. How about 0? Still you are a child. Now that we have these two conditions, two possibilities, I could add another one. So we're going to use an else if statement, parentheses, curly brackets. Within this, I'd set this condition to be if our age is less than 0, we will print you have not been born yet. So let's run this. You are a child. If this is less than 0, you have not been born yet. So I'd like to add another else if statement. Else if our age is exactly equals to 0, we will print that you are a baby. So if we set our age to 0 and run it, there we go, you are a baby. So what if our age is 1? You are a child. Now, I would like to add another condition. Else if our age is greater than or equals to 60, we'll print that you are a senior. You are a senior. And let's set age to above 60, so 61. And let's see what happens. You are an adult. So why is this one printed instead of this? That's because in Java we read from top to bottom. So the first condition were true, and so the other ones were just forgotten. So my tips for you, if you have a greater value, you should put it at the top because for the order. So let's set it to the top, and this one, the 18 one, will be an else if condition. Oops, I forgot the curly braces. So there we go. If we run it now, the first condition is true while the other one is forgotten. That's how they read the code. So that's my tip. Let's set the age to 60 exactly. You are a senior. Let's set it to 59. You are an adult. So that's how you do an if statement, an else if statement, and an else statement in Java. So what's a nested if statement? It simply means an if statement inside another if statement. So let me show you the example of that. First, we'll declare an int of age, set it to be 20, yeah, like that, and we'll declare a first condition of according to our age. If it's above 18, so greater or equals to 18, we will print that you are an adult. Let's test it out. You are an adult. Now if we set our age to be 18, let's test it. Still you are an adult. Now I would declare another variable that uses a boolean. So boolean, if a person has ID, let's set it to be true. He has an ID. True. So inside of this, we'll add another if statement. If plus condition brackets. If a person has ID, we'll print you can enter the club. So let's test it. You are an adult and you can enter the club. Now what if we don't have an ID? In that situation, we'll add an else statement inside of this if statement. So basically an else statement for that. If a person has no ID, we'll print bring your own ID. Has ID set to false, then run. You are an adult, but he has no ID, so bring your own ID. So that's how it works, how a nested if statement works in Java. So another example of nested if statement is like this. I'm gonna show you this. So let's declare an int of grade. If our grade is, let's declare our grade is 90. So our grade is 90 right now. So let's declare this first if statement. If condition brackets, if our grade is less than 75, then we will print you failed. So if our grade is less than 75, we failed. Nothing happens because we haven't declared the other variable. So another example of nested if statements. So another set of examples. So another example of nested if statement is this. So let's declare first our int of grade. Let's set it to first 80. Now we'll type the if statements. If condition brackets. If our grade is, let's say if it's greater than 75, we will print you passed. Let's declare an else statement here. Else, if the first condition is wrong, we'll print this instead. Else you failed. So let's test it. Our grade is 80. You passed. If our grade is 75, you failed. Yeah. So what if I'm with high honors? So let's set our grade to be 90. In this case, we will add another if statement inside this if statement. So let's do that. If our condition plus curly brackets. If our grade is above 90, equals or above 90, let's say, we will print you are with high honors. So let's test it. Our grade is set to be 90. Let's test it. You passed. You are with high honors. So now if our grade is 80, what will happen? You pass. So that's all. That's the other example of nested if statements in Java. What's a switch case? It is used when we want to check one variable against many possible values. So later, I'll give an example of that. Instead of writing many if and else if conditions, we can use switch to make our code shorter and more organized. So let's show the example of that. So our first example is we'll declare a string of day. Let's say it's equals to Friday. Quotation Friday. Semicolon. Now we're going to type the switch and then parenthesis day. We're targeting the day, the variable day, okay? So curly braces, inside it we will type case. So let's say for example case of Sunday. Now we'll add a colon, and inside of this column we'll add the print statement of it is Sunday. If we run it, it won't run because this is Friday. This day is set to be Friday, so let's set this to be Sunday. We run it. It is Sunday. So let's add another case. Case of Monday. Column, the print statement. It is Monday. Set this to be in capital, like that. And let's set our day to be Monday now. It is Monday. Let's add another case. Case of Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Oops. Just copy paste them. So copy paste, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, made a mistake. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there we go. If our case, what if our day is equals to Tuesday? Oh, oh no. The other cases is running. That's because we did not use a break statement. So each case we will add break statements, okay? Break command. So break, 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 break. Without the break statement, the other case will not stop running, okay? So do not forget the break. Sorry, it is Tuesday, so let's set this to be Wednesday. It is Wednesday, there we go. What if we remove this one? It is Wednesday. How about Thursday? See? Without the break, the case just won't stop. So, okay, that's the first example of switch statement in Java. So I'm going to add another example of switch case. So I hope you understand my example. So I already declared a string of choice equals to 1. So type switch, parentheses, inside of it the choice, and don't forget the curly braces, and inside are the cases. So we have our choice 1. So in case 1, we'll have to print you chose, for example, pizza. So if I type, or if I choice is 1, we'll print, we'll print pizza. Let's add another case. Case 2. In case 2, we'll choose burger instead of pizza. So let's run it. Oh no, don't forget the break statement, break case, whatever. So let's set our choice to be 2. I chose burger. Let's add another case. Don't forget the break statement or break case. So case 3. In case 3, you chose chicken. choice of 3, I chose chicken. Now, instead of cases, let's break it first. So instead of cases, case 1, like case 2, like case 3, we got another case that's called default. In Java, it's like an else statement, and these cases are just an if statements, 3 if statements, okay? So in default, and inside of that column, we will print you did not choose anything. So if our value of choice is not equals to 1 or 2 or 3, instead we chose 4, this one will be printed out, okay? You did not choose anything, see? So that's another example of switch cases. So I hope you understand everything I just said.